Today I thought I would talk about the tomatoes I'm planning on growing in my garden this year. And I want to say it's about 39 varieties that I have, if I counted right, that I'm going to grow out. A couple of them I've grown before, most of them I haven't. I still have a ton of tomatoes I need to go through. But I do want to eventually grow, where most of my tomatoes are ones that I love, that I want in my garden every year, and then maybe I try a few new seeds every year. That's what I really want, but I think it's going to take me a long time to get there. Greg, every time. Okay, Greg, you can't stay there. Okay, so first up, I'm going to talk about cherry tomatoes and currant tomatoes. Um, I really enjoy currant tomatoes. It can be a very aggravating plant though. I um I like just having them around for snack, especially if you go to people's houses. I also like to have them on like veggie platters and stuff. But as soon as you pick them in the first couple days, you pretty much want to eat them. And there's a ton of them, and they go ripe very fast. It can get away from you. So I'm only going to grow one of each, but I still really enjoy them. They're really prolific, and I just love the little tiny bursts in your mouth. Because even with a lot of cherries that I like, most of the time, like I cut them in half for salads. I'm not necessarily growing all of them that are one bite ones, but these are just like quick ones you can have in the garden. First up is the orange currant. It's like half-inch tiny ones. They're sweet, fruity, and supposed to be slightly tangy, and of course extremely prolific. I've never tried these. I have tried the little yellow and red ones in the store. Um, so hopefully I'll really like these. And the other one that I haven't tried either is Tessa's Landrace currant. It's a red one. It's also half-inch tiny ones. They're super sweet ones. So we'll see if I like that. I have an issue with cherries, I have found, with cherry tomatoes. A lot of the ones that are very, very sweet that everyone talks about, I don't know if it's just because people talk them up so much that when I have them, I'm like, it's okay. It's like I want more than just sweet. But honestly, I'm wondering if maybe I should grow for a couple years and then try some new ones. Or try stuff like Sun Gold again. Because I'm not growing it this year. I grew it last year. I grew Sun Sugar the year before. They were both perfectly fine. They were sweet. Like they were fun to snack on. But like for some reason, because everyone talks about them so much, I was like, they're going to be amazing. And they split so easily, and I was annoyed by them. So we shall see. But it says they're really sweet, so we'll see if I like them. I do want to have some red tomatoes just to have. Like red cherry tomatoes are something my husband likes to have, like for his salads. So I do want to have some good ones that I like. And I'm trying to just, be not. The problem is the way people talk about tomatoes. I love the taste of tomatoes. Don't get me wrong. But most of the time, they're going to taste like tomatoes. And sometimes you'll come across a tomato that just gives you something you've never had before. But a lot of times, when people are like, it's very sweet, it's just a very sweet tomato, which is fun. But I think I prefer the acidity sometimes more, or the tangy more than necessarily the sweet. Or like the earthy taste, I think is more for me. But I don't know, if I completely stopped going sweet tomatoes, maybe I would be upset that I didn't have sweet. So I don't know what I want. I'm figuring out what I want. I don't know. I'm just saying things. Let's move on. So those are the two currants that I am planning to grow. And the next thing is actually a hybrid. I've grown this before, but I have an unopened pack of seeds. So either it just sealed very well, or I accidentally bought 2 packs. But as far as I remember, it was a mild cherry, but I'm pretty sure I liked it, and I especially liked it in a bowl of cherry tomatoes because it was just a really light yellow. And it says on here it's a sweet flavor, but I remember it being more mild, not overly sweet. But I'm going to try this one again. If I like it, I might do what I'm doing with another tomato and grow out a couple plants and try and dehybridize it because it is a hybrid plant. So if you really like hybrid plants, you gotta either you grow out and dehybridize and you don't get the exact same plant, but you might get something good, or you have to continuously buy the seeds. And the truth is that I don't want to keep buying the tomato seeds that I've grown before. I want to be able to save them, and if I buy new tomato seeds, I want it to be ones I've never had. So we'll see if I like this because I am enjoying trying out dehybridization, where you just grow out the seeds year after year until you get something stable. It's actually been a lot of fun doing that. So I I'm excited about to try that one again because I'm pretty sure I liked it, even though it was mild. I think I really enjoyed it. And then I'm gonna try Barry's Crazy Cherry. This is the only one I'm trying that's in like, I'm pretty sure that's in the grape shape. My husband mostly just prefers the cherry tomatoes. I mean, well, you know what I mean, like in cherry tomatoes, the cherry round ones. But it's a multiflora. I've never grown a multiflora. I got this in a seed exchange, and they're supposed to be a pale yellow also. This is a Brad Gates variety from Wild Boar's Farm. So they're oval. They're supposed to have a beak, and they get sweeter as they ripen. And he says, or on his site, it says they're flavored like sweet Moscato. And I really like Moscato wine. I'm not much of a wine drinker, but I do like dessert wines. Like if I'm going to drink something, like a glass of something. And so this might be actually really good for me. And the next thing, it's actually a dehybridized sun gold. It's a gobstopper. I grew it not last year, but the year before, and I remember really, really enjoying it. And this was before I knew it was a sun gold. I'm wondering if I have a bias because so many people like it. I'm really starting to wonder. But this one, it's a green flesh tomato, but the skin's yellow, and so the green sometimes kind of shows through on it. And it's sweet, but it's supposed to have a little bit of a complexity to it, which is why I probably like it. And it has fruit notes, supposedly. I don't remember tasting fruit notes, but I remember it being more than just sweet. So I'm going to try this again. If I do like this one again, it probably will be the first real cherry tomato to go into my, I will always grow this pile. Because I just remember really, really enjoying this one a lot. And the next one is Blue Creamberries, which I'm pretty sure is another Brad Gates variety. It is. It's an amber colored grape, so like a, amber yellow, with purple shoulders, so it has some nice antho. And they're actually supposed to have a complex flavor as well, sweet but earthy. I like the earthy taste in things. I really like bitter notes too, so I'm hoping that I'll like this because I know for a lot of people that earthy taste from the antho can be a turnoff. But it was like the other day I had one of those blood oranges at the store, and when you opened it, it was like the darkest blood orange I've ever seen. They're already pretty dark, but this one was like purple and only had a little bit of red, like the dark red at the ends of it. And I guess because of really cold nights, it can give them more of that antho coloring, like make that really dark orange even darker. And it gave it like a earthy tea taste. Greg, and Greg, sit. And so I'm hoping I'll really like this too. I have not grown this one. Next up is Evil Olive. It's a 2 to 3 ounce large cherry. I don't know when it technically goes into saladette because I feel like for a lot of saladettes I see 2 to 4. So maybe because this is 2 to 3, it's not considered a saladette, or maybe it is. It's olive green with red orange streaks. It's supposed to be highly productive and a long storage. It has like good skin for that, so like a thicker skin, and it's supposed to be crunchy with tangy, smoky flavor, which I just thought sounded interesting. So I had to grow that one. And then next up is we're going into the red tomatoes because I do need to find a good red tomato to have because that's just like one that my husband always wants in the house. So the first up is a super sweet 100. A lot of people talk about this one. We'll see if I like it. It is a hybrid, so again, it would be something that even if I liked it, I would have to dehybridize it because I don't want to continually buy seeds. But it would be good to see if it is a really good tomato. It's very sweet. It's disease resistant and supposed to be extremely prolific. And the other one that I'm growing that's red is Gardener's Delight, which I've heard is a very good tomato. It's small, it's a German heirloom, it's sweet with a good sugar acid balance, which might be exactly what I need. And it's supposed to be crack resistant, which everyone wants crack resistant cherries. Because cherries, I swear, for me anyways, seem to split faster than the slicers. I can normally, because I'm a container gardener, it's right in my backyard. It's not hard for me to go out and pick every day. And even if it's like a couple days, normally you can tell when you need to pick a slicer, when it's that convenient for me. But with cherries, it's so much faster. So that's good to have. And then I have two more left in the cherry thing. This is Purple Bumblebee. There's a whole Bumblebee series. There's Sunrise. Which is like a yellow and pink or red. And then I also think there is more of a red one with green stripes, I want to say. And so this one is, so it's pink Sunrise. And then this one is a dusky purple with metallic green striping. So it's supposed to have high acid and be less sweet. So this might actually be right up my alley. And then the next one is the one I am dehybridizing. So a couple years ago, I'm talking too fast. So a couple years ago, I went to a nursery because I've been working on putting more native plants in my back towards my wood line and in my front yard to attract like different pollinators and stuff before I was even thinking about doing a vegetable garden. I have like earlier in my marriage at a different house, I did vegetable garden one year. And then when I was younger at my house, a vegetable garden. But I didn't really grow up with people vegetable gardening. The only time I've ever really done vegetable gardening is when I wanted to do it. So it's been a while since I've done it. And we went to a nursery. And the two tomatoes that stood out to me, because even when I grew before, it was just red tomatoes. Those are what I picked. Or I either bought them from the store plant already, or I would buy either Freddie Moore or Burpees at like a Lowe's or whatever hardware store. But that was the first time where I had tomatoes that were a different color catch my eye, and they were the black Krim and the midnight snack. And I enjoyed both of them very, very much. And the midnight snack, of course, is a hybrid. So I was like, well, I want to have it in my garden every year, or a piece of it, because it got me into gardening again. And so I have started to hybridize it. So these will be F3 plants. And so last year was the first real good grow out from the F2. And I had two, because it was a bad tomato year. I had two tomato plants that did okay from it, that did pretty good. And one of them still had good flavor. It was the good cherry circle, and it had the anthos. And then the other one, the taste wasn't as good, and it was a funky shape. But it was still edible. It was still good. It just wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I saved seeds from the one that still had the good shape, that still had the good taste. And so we'll see what turns out this year, because I think it'll be fun to end up with whatever tomato I have and grow in my garden every year. Because I think, and the original seeds were from the plant starter that I had bought from that nursery. So I think that's cool. So that's it for my cherries. Next up, we're going into paste. Well, the first one that I'm talking about, I want to say it's technically a cherry or a saladette still, but the shape of it is elongated, so I kind of want to put it with the paste. is 2 to 4 ounces, and it's the Atomic Fusion. So it's the larger version of Brad's Atomic Grape that everyone really, really enjoys. I've never tried Brad Atomic Grape, but I did get Atomic Fusion. And so they're plum-shaped fruit with green, red, purple, and brown striping. And they're supposed to be sweet, complex flavor, heat tolerant. And so I'm definitely going to grow these out and see. And plus, it's just so many beautiful colors that I have to try that plant out. And next up is green sausage. It's a compact plant, so it doesn't get huge. It's 4 inches long, sausage shaped. It's yellow and green with sweet and tangy flavors. And this is from the breeder Tom Wagner. And when he first did it, they were called green sleeves. So if you've heard of that tomato before, that's what this one is. And I have found with my sauces and with cherry tomatoes that growing in all those different flavors into the sauces made them sweeter, made them better. So I'm kind of hoping to do that, to have more sauce and paste tomatoes with the color scheme. Now, colors don't necessarily mean it'll taste like that, but there are a lot of commonalities with it, so I thought this would be good to add. We'll see if that's good. And I also am doing cream sausage. It is a determinate plant, and it's 3 to 4 inches long. It's a creamy yellow sausage. It's supposed to be mild and low acid flavor. So, and it's a determinate, so we'll see how many tomatoes I get off of it this year. What I'm also trying to do as I'm like finding tomatoes to have in my garden each year, I'm trying to get organized enough to where I can see how many come off a plant and then grow them again the next year to see if it can be consistent, to see if it's worth having in the garden. And last year was a really hard tomato year. So a couple that I'm bringing back to try again this year did okay, even with a really bad year. So I'm hoping to continually do the same this year. I'm actually just hoping for a really good year. I am doing a lot of determinates and dwarf varieties this year because I container garden. So I figured it'd probably be a good idea to see if that will help me. And in the future, I may end up, if I do end up stretching out, I may end up buying more dwarf tomatoes, but I kind of screwed myself because I have a ton of tomatoes I still want to try that I still have seeds for that are not dwarf. But I have a couple that aren't dwarf that still do okay in my garden. So we will have to see. We'll have to see. But I'm trying to give myself, the reason why I bring up the dwarfs, because last year I had such a bad year with tomatoes that I want a good year. So I'm trying to hedge my bets with it. Next up is a sweet aroma hybrid. It's supposed to be sweet and meaty and disease resistant, and 4 ounce plum fruits, Roma style fruits. It is a hybrid, so I'm expecting it to pump out a lot. We shall see if that happens. And I'm also going the Rio Grande tomato. It's determinate. It's supposed to be highly productive. It's supposed to thrive in extreme heat. It's 3 to 4 inch block red fruits. It's a compact plant, and it's supposed to have balanced, rich flavor. So if this is really productive, this may be the one to save, because the extreme heat. It's so funny because like the spring, I'm actually really enjoying my spring garden. Even though like there's been some weeks where it's like 80 degrees, we've hit record heat here for spring, and then it goes right back to freezing. So I have a lot of plants that went to seed, but it's been inconsistent enough to where the fruit's not bitter. So even though it's been going to where it wants to go to seed, it all still tastes good, because coming in like a month and a half, everything's going to be bitter. And I like bitter, but I mean like bitter to the point you don't want to eat it. So, because that heat comes on here. So I need some heat resistant varieties. So we're still in the sauce section, and we're getting into the hearts. I love hearts. They're big, they're meaty, and just beautiful. I just really find them beautiful. So this is the Come Undone tomato. This is from Bill Yoder. I was actually very lucky to get his email address to email him. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, and get some seeds from him. And I got seeds that he did, and also I think I got 1 or 2 seeds of a breeder's breeder's tomatoes that he really, really loves. And he has a website now, so I will leave below the website to get his seeds, because most of these, like even when I say Brad Gates, most people know Wild Boar Farms. You look that up, it comes up for you. Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, Botanical Interest, Victory. Most people can find those websites pretty well, but I don't know if his is Bill Yoder or if it's Rockstar. So I'm going to have to put that down, because it's awesome that it has a website now where you can see all the pictures of his awesome plants. So these are 6 to 12 ounce yellow hearts with pink blushes and antho shoulders. And they're supposed to be productive with sweet complex flavors. So I'm excited to try that one. It just sounds like such a pretty tomato. And then I'm doing German red strawberry. I did grow this one last year because I accidentally bought 2 packets, so I wanted to go through the seeds. And it did not do well. I don't even know if I got a fruit off of it. But I'm going to give it one more chance this year because it's meaty. It's supposed to be abundant. It was 3-inch wide by 3.5 inches long. The shape could be inconsistent. It's robust, old-timey flavors with lingering sweetness. Last year could have been me. You know what I mean? I was still figuring out fertilizing and a consistency with how I wanted to garden. So I want to give it another chance. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Next up is Oxheart. I have not grown this one yet. It's supposed to be dense with few seeds. Good for a robust sauce. High yielding. 1 to 2 pounds. Well, it can get up to 1 to 2 pounds. In my garden, I will be very surprised if I ever get a 2-pound tomato in a container garden. It's possible, but I'm not necessarily growing for size. I'm going to grow for flavor and for production is what I really want. So these are meaty and they're supposed to be a mild flavor. So we'll see how those ones do. And the next one up is Hungarian Heart. I did my plant didn't do great last year, but I still got some tomatoes off of it. I grew it the year before. The year before it was fantastic. So I want to grow it again. And if I have another good year, Hungarian Heart might be staying in my garden. It supposedly can get up to 3 pounds. I got like 1 pound fruits off of it the really good year. Last year they weren't even that big, but they were still coming off in a very bad year. So they're pink red hearts, they're crack resistant, and they're rich sweet flavor. I just saw something fall. So I was going to try that. And last for my hearts is Fire Comet. So I got this from Bill Yoder, but it was by a breeder he likes. It's by Sofia Sakova. I could be saying that wrong. It's one of his favorite grows. It's a mild flavor, but it's supposed to be it's a mild fruity flavor, and it's supposed to be sweet and tart. And it's deep red with antho shoulders, and it's more pointy, I think, than I've seen with a lot of hearts. And it's supposed to be high yielding, so maybe that will turn out good. And then next up, we are getting into the dwarf and the terminates. I'm including the determinants with it because they are, compact plants, so I can grow them pretty similarly. I just can't, trim them like you would in determinants. I don't really do much trimming in my yard except for disease because even the really indeterminate ones only get so big. So I don't do a ton of trimming. But that is important to remember when you have determinants. But not all dwarfs are determinants, which is awesome. First up is, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on determinants. Because determinants are great to have for production, to save for sauces. You know what I mean? If you can't eat them all fresh. So, anyways... First up, I'm going to do Dwarf Barrel Beauty. It's 8 to 16 ounces. It's a green tomato with a pink blossom blush when it's ripe. It's supposed to be full and delicious, and it's like a bright green flesh to them. This was by the Dwarf Tomato Project. I've talked before about Craig LaHoyer. I did not, darn it, I was supposed to save the name of the other person who did it with him. He had another breeder who helped him in Australia, like organize it. And so here he had a group of organizers and she had a group of organizers, and they, for years, grew out these seeds like a couple times in a season. So I just think that's really cool and a really cool project because there's so many cool stuff for container growers now because of that effort. So it's awesome. And the next one up is Gondwana Moon. It's 2 to 5 ounces. It's also part of the Dwarf Tomato Project. It's a globe-shaped, bright yellow fruit with deep purple black color. So you have a lot of antho on it. It's tangy, sweet, and it's supposed to have an umami flavor. Which, see, I just love all these complex flavors. I hope it's true when they grow. Next one up is Uluru Ochre. I mentioned last year that I just did not have a good growing year. My best performing one was Uluru Ochre. I growed it. I can't talk. I grew it with Thornburn's Terracotta because I thought the oranges were similar. Thornburn's is a little more like rusty. And these one had green shoulders, but it's a very, very orange, like a darker orange. It's flattened fruits. It's 6 to 12 ounces. It's a sweet, smoky flavor. They were delicious. And again, they were my most prolific plant. Like even on really bad stalks, it just did awesome in my garden. So I'm growing them again this year. I really hope it's a good year. I want to see what it does on a good year. And this will probably be added to my garden because it was a good tomato. It was a good tomato. Next one up, I want to call it Wherokowhai, but I'm probably still saying it wrong. It's fer-dow-co-fi. Fer-dow-co-fi. It is also from the Dwarf Tomato Project. It's medium to large fruits. It's supposed to be yellow with red swirls. In this picture, it looks more red. But when I looked on Bounty Hunter Seeds, which is another company that has all kinds of cool tomatoes, I would definitely suggest looking into them. Theirs was more yellow with the red swirls. So we'll see how it looks. I did myself dirty with these seeds. But you know what? I'm going to call out in my gardener how awesome their seeds are. Because these are one of the first tomato plants seeds that I bought. I was very excited getting back into gardening a couple years back. And I put this in, I direct sowed it outside. The plant grew beautifully, but these take 95 days to maturity. And it's even more than that for direct sowing. It's going to be over like 110, 115 because you got to include that into it. It's not like I transplanted it outside. It was too late in the season for me to have planted it. And I should have thought about that. I got way too excited. My other plants were shorter seasoned, so I was able to get at least some fruits off those. And then I did a trade in that group that I'm in, and because I was so excited to get more awesome flavors that I can't find in stores. And so I left myself with 2 seeds. And I think I had a mouse in my garage. Because I had where just the tops were being taken off, but it wasn't down to the root. And I was having a hard time finding pests and soil that would do that without eating more of it. But I did see that maybe it was a mouse. So I had 2 seeds of these. Yeah, because I planted them out like earlier this month. Both of them popped up. That's why I'm saying I'm calling it my gardener like awesome, because these are older seeds and I had 100% germination. And one of them got eaten by whatever the pest was. I still have one left. And I moved them outside when it was still in the 80 degrees to keep them alive. I moved stuff in the garage and I put my cats out there in case it was a mouse. And so far, this one's growing. So I might still get the plant this year. Because I was really thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to buy seeds. Something I didn't want for a plant I already had. because I want to grow this tomato. It's supposed to have a well-balanced flavor. So I'm hoping it grows great. If not, I have other options for seeds, but I'm really hopeful that I have that one this year. Next up is silvery fir tree. It's a determinate. It's supposed to have a slightly citrus flavor. They're like 2-inch fruits, 2 to 4 ounces, so around the saladette size. It's supposed to be silver gray fern-like foliage, so it sounds really cool. And also tangy and acidic with that citrus flavor. So this will be interesting to try. I am going to try, because it's determinate, so it should pack on a bunch of tomatoes. I am going to try and count, not the cherries, of course, but the bigger tomatoes, how many tomatoes I get off of them each year. I say that. We'll see if I follow through with that. Next up is Oregon Spring. This is also a determinate. It's supposed to be medium to large fruits and sweet acidic flavor. Now, I'm just going to say medium to large. This says large. I'm pretty sure I looked up that it can be medium to large. In my container, I'm going to go with probably medium. But I hope the flavor's good if it's a sweet acidic flavor. Because I do want to find a really good red tomato. I really do. Next up is Dwarf Wild Fred. It's also from the Dwarf Tomato Project. It's 8-ounce fruits, irregular shaped, median purple. It's supposed to have excellent flavor. Which I hope it does. I hope it does. And it's Dwarf Wild Fred. What's it from? I didn't write it down. I feel like it's from a brandy variety, like one of the parents. I could be wrong though. This is another one from the Dwarf Tomato Project. It's unless I think so. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. This I got from a trade. So I've talked about this group before. I'll probably put it down below. It's the only group I trade with. It's you can find them on Facebook. It's the Tomato Collective. They also have a garden group, and they have a pepper group, and they have 2 people on YouTube that run it. There's a third person, but I don't think she has a YouTube channel. It's Kina, Jen, and Lauren, and it's just an awesome group. I've gotten some great trades through them. I've been able to give some seeds away on there. If you're looking for trades, I'll put that info below, because it's an awesome group, and people just want to share their tomato seeds. But I got this from a trade. It's supposed to be prolific. It's the dwarf purple heartthrob. It's 4 to 10 ounces. It's heart shaped. It's a purple color with metallic green stripes, and the interior is supposed to be burgundy. It's supposed to have the classic well-balanced flavor. We shall see if it's true. It sounds very pretty. I wonder if it looks similar to, except it's heart-shaped, but I wonder if it looks similar to Beefy Purple that I grew last year. I only got 1 or 2 plants off of it, but it was actually pretty good. I might end up coming back to that one eventually. And last in my dwarf and determinate ones, this is a determinate and they're dwarf determinates, from Dean Slater's. It's the breeder. It's 6 to 12 ounces, purple beef steaks, supposed to have a rich, smoky, well-balanced flavor. And I grow the black creme, and I really like the smoky flavor in a tomato. So we'll see how that one goes. It looks like it'll be really pretty. And next up is from Wild Dwarf Farms. This might technically be in the dwarf category because it only grows 3 to 5 inches in height. It's indeterminate. It's 2 to 4 ounce saladettes that are green with yellow flecks and striping, and it has anthocyanin as well. It's supposed to have a good shelf life and supposed to be very productive. And they looked really cool. The green and the yellow with the antho. So I'm hoping that turns out good. This is another one I got in a trade. I'm telling you, there's such really cool tomatoes out there. This is Kazula 179. It's a brownish yellow tomato with green specks on it. It just looks really cool. I don't know if I've seen anything like it. I guess it'll be similar in color to Thornburns and Uluru Ochre. Probably the closest, but it's more a brown or yellow than the rusty oranges, the deep oranges. But it looks very cool. It's 14 to 17 ounces, balanced and unique flavor of sweet and acidic. So we'll see. And then, oops, this one, I grew a bunch of yellows last year that did not turn out. So I don't know if it turned me off from growing a ton of yellows, but this one is supposed to be productive. I keep seeing people like it and it's productive, so I'm kind of hoping for that. It's the Dr. White Cheese Yellow. It's supposed to be low acid, rich flavor, large 1 pound deep tangerine fruits. I'm not counting on very large, but even if it's just medium and they're good flavor for my garden, I'll be up for it. And next up is German Johnson. I will grow this every year. I got the plant my first year, but this is a tomato I actually know about. I've said before, my family's not much of gardeners. I didn't really grow up with like grandparents gardening and stuff. But if you went to the market, you heard about, at least for around us here in North Carolina, you heard about German Johnsons. It makes me think of summer. They're awesome pink tomatoes. Oh gosh, I dropped one. Another one that I want to talk about. I'll get back to that. I got distracted. But yeah, I dropped a couple of them. Okay, I got distracted. They're good, rich, acidic flavors. I think of tomato sandwiches when I think of German Johnsons. So I will have this in my garden every year, and they're beautiful pink. Okay, I have two that are missing. What did I do with them? Because I have them written down. Where are you? Okay, am I crazy? I am crazy. But they're right here. Okay, so I'm going backwards a little bit because I wanted to focus on these colors before I went to the pink. The first one is Pink Furry Burr. I cannot talk. Pink Furry Boar. Last year I grew the Wapsipidican Peach, and I got a couple fruits off of it. It was very sweet, very good. So we'll see if I go back to it. But the texture does kind of like mess with you a little bit. So I don't want a ton of these, but it was still very good. I may grow that again. But this is another furry one. It's from Brad Gates. It's round pink fruit with creamy yellow stripes. It's matte skin and fuzzy and a rich and sweet flavor. And if it's a sweetness like the Wapsipidican Peach, maybe I'll grow this one every year. I don't know. But if all of them are, like, it's so funny. I was talking about sweetness earlier, about how it wasn't enough. This was a different sweet. It was a very good sweet. I'm hoping this will be very similar. If not, it's a very pretty looking fruit with cream stripes and furry and matte. Just sounds cool. I hope that one turns out. And the next one, I'm very excited about this one. This one was in a trade. I didn't know they had spicy in a tomato flavor. This one is called Zebra Picante. So it's in the, the green zebra family of all the zebras. And it's supposed to be juicy with a spicy flavor. Now, I don't know if that necessarily means it'll have heat to it or more if it just will have like a spice to it, like, herbaceous spice. I'm not sure, but I'm curious. I should have asked the person I traded with. I may do that. So they're medium plum shaped. They're the variant of the green zebra of the Tom Wagner's breed. And they're red with green streaks. So we'll see how they turn out. Because, that just sounds awesome in a tomato. It just sounds great. Back to the pink tomatoes. This one actually says on the packet it's a container variety. I'm not sure if that's true because it's supposed to be giant. But if it produces good in a container, I don't care if the fruits are big. But they're supposed to be giant, 1.5 to 3 pounds dark pink tomatoes. The meaty tomatoes have smooth skin, mild sweet fruit. So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Because again, with the mild, but if it has a good tomato taste, I don't know. We shall see. Next up is Granny Cantrells. So they're supposed to be large fruits, bountiful, with a rich, sweet flavor. There's a lot of rich, sweet flavors. Have you noticed that with these? But it has a cool story. It was gifted seeds from World War II soldier, and it was since cultivated, and that's why it's called Granny Cantrells today. It says it has award-winning flavor. And there's a channel I've seen recently. What is her name? She does tomato, like what she grows every year. I don't remember her name. She's on YouTube. She has curly hair. I'll probably put her YouTube below. But she has started to grow these every year. And she makes them sound good. So I'm hopeful about that. And next up, it also says on the packet it would be a good container variety. It's Boxcar Willie. It's crack resistant. It's supposed to have the classic tomato flavor. So if it produces good, maybe this will be one of the reds I keep. It's supposed to be disease tolerant, prolific, and 12 to 18 ounces. And it's sweet yet tart with the classic tomato flavor. So we'll see. And then this is a fun one, I think. It's Abe Lincoln. And the reason why I think it's a fun one is because you always watch channels where they talk about how the Abe Lincoln can get very large. And then it's like, well, there's a couple different strains out there. I do not believe that this is the giant strain. This says it grows in clusters of up to 9. So this is probably the medium strain that people aren't looking for. But it's supposed to have good flavor. And they're 12-ounce tomatoes. So they're medium tomatoes, I'm pretty sure. And it says since 1923. I see a lot of places talk about the 1923 Abe Lincoln. But this says since 1923 that they've been growing. So again, I don't think it's that elusive strain, obviously. But we'll see if this turns out good. And next up is the Black Creme, which is such an awesome tomato. It's purple. It's a smoky sweet flavor. It has like 3 to 4 inch fruits. It does very good in my garden. And it got me back into doing a vegetable garden. So I will grow this every single year. And last up, this one seems to be a very controversial one. Black Beauty. It's supposed to have a sweet, earthy flavor. It's red with a lot of antho. And of course, you got to grow it out in the sun to get more antho. So this one, a lot of people like the prettiness of it, not necessarily the taste. But because I like earthy things, I'm thinking this will be right up my alley. So yeah. That's all my tomatoes. Thanks for listening. I'm very excited about this year. I do have some options in case some of them don't grow out. But with the Wherokowhai seeming like it's working, we shall see. There's a couple that still haven't come up, but I still have a ton of seeds, so I can keep trying to germinate them. But I'm very excited about this year because I am going to try and do some mulching. And with the determinants, I'm hoping that I'll help cut down on disease. Because our problem really is, like, yes, we have humidity, but April through, like, the beginning of June, it is so wet here. Like, we can be dry the rest of the year, but it gets so wet, and that is where the problem comes in with tomatoes, where they get too much disease before they're even producing enough. And also, my fertilizing wasn't down, but I think I finally have it. My spring garden is going so well. It's giving me boosts. We'll see if that turns out. But thank you everyone for watching, and let me know what tomatoes you guys are growing, because they really is some of the funnest parts of the garden, I think, just because of all the cool colors. Like, you can find a lot of cool colors in other stuff too, but tomatoes, man, they're just insane. But yeah, thank you. Happy growing. Bye guys.